Yes. Tell them to come. I forgot to tell them you come since. What do you like? Number. For your tank. Or radio. Or where? You just read any of the numbers and reply. Hi, good evening. Good evening. Trust we had a great day. Trust we had a great weekend as well. Happy new week. I want to have a short conversation. Hi, Zank Sofam. Good evening. Trust we're good. So I want to have a conversation around farming and science. Farming and science, because a lot of people have somehow forgotten that agriculture is actually referred to as agricultural science. Agricultural science. And if we are not able to properly define agriculture within the context of what it means, we will be blaming the system for failing rather than our ignorance. Rather than our ignorance. Again, to the verse of the Bible, what I will paraphrase for this purpose that we've used for a while, that says that I wish that thou mayest prosper. I'll call you. And be in good health. All of the documents have been. You're still in the office, or do you help me bring it?
They're still trying to print it, but they said their printer is slow.
Yeah, they should bring it when they are done. I'm here.
I'm thinking, can we just work with the others or some copy? There are just a few left. So
They should just bring everything on. Or work on it tomorrow. Let me allow you rest. Ele. So it says, I wish that thou mayest prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prospers. Even as your soul prospers. So permit me, I am going to paraphrase that for the context of farming. For the context of farming. I wish that your farm prospers and your farm business is healthy, even as your soul. Remember we talked about soul. Your soul talks about your consciousness, your mind. So there is a level your mind must operate for you to have a prosperous farm. There is a level your farm must operate for your business to enjoy stability, to be healthy. So, if my business if I do not have that level of wisdom, my farm cannot have the stability that I desire. My farm cannot. So, the prosperity of my farm, the prosperity of my business, the health of my farm, or the health of my business is dependent first on the prosperity of my mind, on what I know. What do I really know about what I am doing? So, like I said before, remember, Uncle Yeni, good evening, sir. Farm Palax, good evening. Agriculture is a science. Mr. Elvin, good evening, sir. Agriculture is a science. I cannot overstate that enough. Agriculture is a science. Let's get that clear. That is why it is called agricultural science. So anytime you see that in your farm, you are having to overpray, you are planting and backing it up with prayer. You are planting and supporting the planting with prayer. You are covering your farm with all sorts of bloods. You are making a tutu, sacrifice, palm oil. What it means is you are trying to use faith to cover your lack of science. You are substituting science with faith. Somebody is probably thinking, am I saying that, oh, you don't need faith and hope? I mean, the farmer plants in faith. The farmer sows the seed in faith, right? But there is a place for science. There is a place for science. And when we say science, you must understand that science and technology is not just about use of tools, it's about the relevance of those tools to your reality. So, for example, if we say, oh, use science, use technology, the reality is hoes and cutlass are technologies. Hoes and cutlass are tools. But when you look at when hoes and cutlasses were first discovered, when they were first manufactured, you realize that what you are getting as the yield from your hoes and your cutlass is what was gotten at the era when it was discovered. How do I mean? Hoes and cutlass predate biro and pencil. Hoes and cutlass, it's like among your first industrial revolution. So when you are a farmer predominantly using hoes and cutlass, you are not getting reduced yield. As a matter of fact, you are even getting more yield than what hoes and cutlass should provide. But you are comparing your yield with the person using the science of 2025 while you are using the science of 1600. You are using the science of 1600, but you want to compare your yield to the person using the technology of 2025. There is no way you can get what they are getting. There is no way. And as a farmer, I understand that yes, it is possible we started from a place of not having funds. I understand that. But if you keep using not having funds as an excuse, your struggle as a farmer will continue. Your struggle as a farmer will continue. So I must get to that point where I start thinking creatively to say, okay, how do I gradually bring in technology into what I do? How do I gradually improve the science of what I do? How do I gradually increase the science of the farming that I am farming? You see, because when you are able to do that creatively, once you are able to do that, you will start having the 21st century results. And there are things your science must speak to. First, you must understand your climate and your climatic environment. You must understand your environment. You are a farmer in Kaduna. It is not enough to go online and Google temperature in Kaduna. What you are Googling online will give you answers that are general. It will be answers for the whole of Kaduna, not specific or tailored to your location. So you want to contact NIMET. You want to contact organizations that have been empowered to say, okay, based on where you are, this is the reality. And when you do that, automatically, you are not going to be better prepared. Take, for example, a few days ago, I ran into somebody who was complaining bitterly, no rain, no rain, no rain, no rain, no rain. And he was almost in tears that there is no rain for his farm, no this, no that, no that. As much as I felt empathy, I knew that that could have been avoided if a little consultation was done with NIMET to say, oh, this is where my farm is, this is the coordinate, what is the rain pattern like? That way, you can avoid the hypertension that, oh, rain did not fall, this did not fall, that did not happen. You are complaining about, oh, the the erosion on my farm, the this, the this, the this. In my conversations with specialists, I realized that there is something called the groundwater, there is something called not tributaries, now what's the word now, that shows you the contour, the pathway of how water will flow, and that it can be mapped out, which means if I want to erect a building, a greenhouse, whatever I want to erect, nature and science has already figured out how to know where water will pass. Science has told us how to configure so that that water does not affect whatever we want to do, how not to build along the water pathway. So if I still go ahead and build along the water pathway, that is not prayer needed. That is not prayer needed. Why? Because at this point, I should have known that where I am putting my structure is along the path that water will flow through. So as a farmer, there is a science to take care of that. I saw on online today, some people were complaining in a particular village how rain came to their fish farms, a lot of people in the fish environment, and now the flood has flooded the ponds because they are 18 ponds, and all their fishes now are on the road, and the villagers are coming to, what's the word now? Catch fishes for themselves to eat. And they are doing the whole mogbe, and insurance is like, well, and again, science could have told you how much rain is likely to fall, and it would have told you that expect flooding. I mean, you watch news, you will hear there is a prediction that flooding will occur in this area or this area. But the issue is because you are not telling them about your specific zone, so they are not able to tailor it to you. 774 local government, God knows how many streets and villages that exist, they cannot give data for every street. But you can request for data for your street. You can request for data for your village. You can request for data for your location. That way, should it happen, it does not come across as, oh, I never saw it coming. No, you saw it coming because you prepared for it. You'll be able to say, oh, this that happened now, I was already prepared. So, what am I saying in essence? The number one thing you want to know is what are the climatic conditions. Same with temperature. You can know what the temperature would be in your area. It's not, what's it called? It's not something weird. You can figure it out. Temperature, humidity, these things can be figured out. That you do not have to back it up with prayer. So your farm is struggling from climatic environment because you neglected the science. There is no demon after your farm. There is no Satan after your farm. I remember there was a while back on this farm, there was a while back that we had greenhouses for. And I remember a lot of people coming to meet me, not a lot of people, a few unique persons coming to meet me to say, let's go and see this Baba, that Baba, let's do this prayer, let's do this. And I told them, these things are not needed. I understand what happened. I understand what happened. And I told them, go to NIMET, they will give you all the information you need. Farm Palace. I said, I understood what happened. We did not do proper, what's the word? We did not use our anemometer properly to see the wind direction and the wind speed. So we built to block wind, and when the wind came, it carried what was on its path. 2, I said, oh, the metals that were supplied by the contractors were not thick enough to withstand. 3, I said the way we did the welding was not done to accommodate this kind of wind. And we changed that. Today we have over 100 acres of greenhouses, nothing is falling. Why? Because we brought in the science. Nature is not against you. Nature is not fighting you. Nature is not what killed your farm. You are the one that did not understand that nature has a pattern. You are the one that did not understand that there is a science for nature. Countries like Qatar, Dubai, and co. today, they have what they call seeding of the rain. That is the science level where they are, where they can trigger rain to fall and stay rain don't fall. Think about it. That is where they are. But where are we in Nigeria? We are still at the point where we are at the, what's the word? Where are we safe in Nigeria? We are still at that point where we are like, we don't know whether rain will fall. Oh Lord, let it fall. No. 2, soil health. Soil health. Imagine somebody that is sick that goes to the hospital and the doctor just looks at you and says, every Monday we give her Panadol. Every Tuesday, malaria. Every Wednesday, this one. Every Thursday. What would you say about such an hospital? But that is how some of us run our farms. That is how some of you run your farms. Seeding. S-E-E-D-I, seeding the rain. This is how some of you, cloud seeding. Thank you, cloud seeding. This is how some of you run your farms. You have gone ahead to buy seed. You have bought fertilizer from one person who is not qualified to even be a fertilizer seller. The only reason the person is selling input is because they could afford to rent a shop. And the person now told you that don't worry, once you plant, put fertilizer. After 3 weeks, apply. After 1 month, apply. After 3 months, apply. And they have told you the fertilizers to apply. The question is, did they test your soil? No. So, a salesman is acting as your fertigation expert. A salesman is acting as your fertigation expert. Just because you are not willing to understand the science of production. People went to school to study soil science. What do you think they were doing? You think they were taking sand and throwing it up and running under and be like, hey, this is sandy. You have not understood what is present in the soil. You have not understood what is absent in the soil, but you are willing to buy fertilizers to put in the soil regardless of what is happening. Regardless of what is happening. So, what you are then having is, you are now saying, when something now happens, the soil did not produce where you are like, what would have happened is your village people. Your village people are too busy pursuing people that are successful in their farms right now. They are not after you. The reason your farm is failing is you neglected the science. You neglected the science. If you take 1,000 farmers, if you can get one farmer out of 1,000 that said, in Nigeria, that said they did soil test, it's a miracle. Because you forget that the fertilizer that you are buying comes with a what's it called? The content of the fertilizer is already on it. They've already decided what it should be. You are buying for NPK, they'll tell you 20-20-20. Nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium is at 20-20-20. The assumption is the 3 are not present. That's the assumption. If they say, this is 15-10-10, the assumption is The nitrogen level is so low, hence the nitrogen in the fertilizer is high. That is why some of you say you apply fertilizer, your plants are very green and shiny, but it will not fruit. That is why you are doing leafy vegetables that are very shiny, but the shelf life is short. Why? You did not even understand what is present. You have a farm that has corner, and your application of fertilizer is the same everywhere. Soil nutrients cannot be the same everywhere on that farm. What is the health of your farm? You don't know. What is the health of the land? You don't know. But you are wondering why your farm is not giving you the productivity that you expect. And when it doesn't, you say it is demons. Because you cannot treat a land. When you say you are applying fertilizer, what do you think application of fertilizer is supposed to mean? Fertilizer application is supposed to be, this is not present. So I am bringing in this because it is not available, or it is too low, so I am adding more to get it high. Most farmlands, at least that I have seen, do not lack NPK as much as they lack micronutrients. There is a law called the law of minimum. And that law, let me paraphrase, simply states that the failure of a system is not usually because of the things you need in large volume, but because of the things you need in micro quantities. E.g., when we tell you somebody has, which example will I use now? If you take carbohydrates as an example, the breakdown of carbohydrates is not dependent on the big things. Carbohydrates will give you energy, like we say. But the energy production from carbohydrate is not dependent on the macro food that you eat. It's dependent on the presence or absence of magnesium. But magnesium is just a mineral that you take in minute quantity. But that magnesium is needed as a cofactor in your glycolysis process to act on your kinases enzymes. So, as minute as magnesium is, in the absence of that, your carbohydrate will not be converted to energy. So you will just be eating and be saying you don't have energy despite the fact that you have eaten. Science. So you do not understand the soil health. You have not done testing, you have not done analysis, you've not done anything. You just bought seed, bought fertilizer, and off you go. Now you are saying things are not working. Number three, crop improvement. Or anyone, livestock improvement, crop management, livestock management. There is a science to first improvement. When we say improvement, we are talking about the kind of seeds that you are growing. The kind of seeds that you are growing. Unfortunately, in Nigeria, ignorance is king. A lot. Which is why many a time I try to avoid, controversial topics where stupidity is judged. I try to avoid it. Where people have used emotions to make decisions, I'm like, let's not step in. Because people do not want to think. People just follow bad wagon. See, when people hear things like, and we say things like, oh, the seeds that you grew up with, the seeds that nature created, are not the seeds that we are living on today. People start shouting, they've been paid. They've been paid. They have been paid. When we are done with this life, go and Google banana. tell Google to show you the original banana or the original plantain, because I know those are two things that we eat a lot in Nigeria. You will be surprised that banana and plantain, their seeds were way bigger than orange seeds. It took somebody to work on it. That is why take plantain, look at plantain, you will still see one tiny line in the middle with tiny dots. Those are the seeds. Somebody did an improvement to make the seeds that tiny. That is what you are enjoying today. I was having a conversation over the weekend with one of my ogas in the industry, and the person we were discussing, and I said, in the next 5-10 years, I am going to, by then I have retired. And I said, I am going to focus on yam and cassava. And the man looked at me and said, why would you say after you've retired, you will focus on yam and cassava? And I said, see, yam and cassava are the only two crops that I know that we have, let me say what somebody posted, that we are the highest producers of something in the world. We are the highest producer of cassava in the world. Over 60%, 65% of the world cassava is Nigeria. 2, we are the highest producers of yam in the world. Now, I said, as a normal thinking nation, 50% of our daily diet, if not more, should be based on yam and cassava, because we are the highest producers. As a matter of fact, I told the person that we are supposed to say, 5 days a week, it is yam and cassava we are eating in different form. Because if you go, I was telling the person that sometimes either later this year or next year, I need to take a trip to China. Again, because I have realized that they are using cassava to make rice and pasta in China. But we that are the highest producer of cassava, the only thing we know how to do with it is fry it, gari, pound it, fufu, slice it, tapioca, what else? Roro it, elubo, and hopefully to some extent flour, which is an embarrassment for what we have the highest of. And the person said, okay, if we are going into it, because there is sultry, for example, that does sorbitol, that's alcohol from cassava, that there are people already doing some things. I said, yes, but they are not doing enough the way I would do it. The man out of curiosity said, okay, what is the thing you will do? I said, the biggest issue with yam and cassava is the fact that you need to wait 9 months minimum for it to be ready. Why is it that, think back, most of us here, you are not young, think back. In the olden days, I think that's English is correct. Back in the days, rice used to be every Sunday or celebratory days. Rice was not what you ate almost every day, right? How is it that a crop we do not have a competence and a competitive advantage in has become our national food? And the two crops where we have competence, where we have dominance, has become the food that we are no longer eating regularly. Why has yam, that we are the highest producer in the world, become the food for the rich, yet we are not even amongst the biggest exporters? Why? And I told him, I said, you see, the reason is we then need, I said, what I will focus on, that's where I'm going to, is to bring improved variety of cassava and yam. Stay in the lab. I'm a biochemist. I told them I'll go and take more courses on plant breeding. Stay in the lab. Do whatever I need to do so that I can plant and harvest yam in 3 to 4 months. Yes. Plant yam, plant cassava in 3 months, in 4 months, harvest. 3 months, harvest cassava. 4 months, harvest yam. That way, the production cycle will be very fast. Is to find the gene for tuberization. Once I get the gene for tuberization, make it to grow bigger and faster. Before you start shouting, with that work, the chicken that you call is it broiler, that takes 8 weeks. Now, so chicken supposed to grow. You not get a Greek fowl for regular local fowl for house. That 1 year the fowl is still running up and down trying to find his destiny. They will crucify. When hunger hits them, my fruit basket, they will eat. Don't we all eat chicken? The chicken that you are eating that is now taking 6 weeks to 7 weeks to be ready, are you the one that made it? Do you know what has been put in the chicken? If we do not take control over our seed, we will forever be subservient to the people helping us produce good seeds. This is how I am going to be thinking. Let me make yam 3 months, cassava 3 months. You enter farm, you enter market like this. Cassava is coming out fast, yam is coming out fast. Then I will work with food technologists, real food scientists, that will sit down and create multiple recipes. That we will have yam flour and yam soup. You will use the flour to eat the you will eat yam to the extent that they will know that yes, awalani yam, now we get yam. You will eat cassava. Let me give you an example. If you go to a place like Kenya, Kenya has 2 major parts. There is the part where they eat Irish potato, and the other part where they are very big in maize. Unfortunately, you heard the word well. Unfortunately, I went to the part where they make where they eat a lot of Irish potato. And please let me tell them water. And where I come from in Nigeria, when I was hungry, I told them to give me rice and I think chicken also. And where I come from, the biggest lump, plumber for water, the biggest lump in your food is meat, yes or no? You know now. If I say I give you rice and chicken, the biggest lump in your food is supposed to be the chicken. So I told them I needed rice and chicken, or I think it was jollof. So they brought it. So I was eating, and you know, as a properly brought up boy, I wanted to finish eating my food before eating the lump. But while I was eating my food, I noticed that there were chicken, what's it called? They were fillet, like a cutter chicken meat, small inside. So I was eating and I was enjoying like, I'm waiting for the big chicken. Only for me to finish eating my rice and the scattered chicken inside. Let me eat the lumps that I've been packing to one side. Lo and behold, it was Irish potato. I mean, I had to call one of them like, this is Irish. And they were like, they started laughing. They're like, oh, everything we eat, we put Irish inside. They give me pepper soup, Irish day inside. Soup, Irish day inside. This is what they have in excess. If we are going to recover our economy, if we are going to own our food system, we have to build it on what we can produce well. But to build it on what we can produce well, we need to breed it so that it is efficient for the farmer. Improved. We need to breed it to be efficient for the farmer. The farmer will not have to wait 9 months for cassava or 12 months for cassava to be ready. They don't need to wait 9 months for yam to be ready. We need to improve it to make it 3 months, at most 4 months. Think about it now. That's why I'm giving us examples of things that are already improved that you are eating. The yam that you are eating, the chicken that you are eating is improved. The beans that you are eating improved. Almost all the fruits that you are eating improved. Cauliflowers and co were not even made by nature. It was science that made them, and you are eating it today, and you are happy. Now, if you are going to be a farmer that will get the best, you must be somebody that understands improved varieties. It is not enough to just go out and say, I want to buy hybrid seed. The question is, you're able to read them? What is built in those seeds that will help where you are? You are a farmer in the north. You are a farmer in the north where you know that you are going to experience drought. Does that not tell you that the kind of seeds that you should buy must be drought resistance? You are a farmer in the south that would experience flooding. Don't you think you should be asking, how can I get seeds that too much rain cannot affect? As a farmer inside a greenhouse, I know that I cannot have pollination with insects and all of that. So we are looking for seeds that can self-pollinate. So the question then becomes, before you say you are buying seed, do you even understand what you are trying to overcome? Do you understand what you are dealing with? Do you understand what you are combating? You are going to buy seed and they told you, this seed is resistant to this disease and this disease. Question, do you even know whether that disease is prevalent where you are? Or you are just buying seed because they said people bought it? Because many a time, we are not ready to actually do the science of the farming. So the failure of our farm is a direct pointer to our ignorance. Or could just say, good evening, sir. The failure of our farm is a direct pointer to ignorance. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Direct pointer. This thing is not working, this thing is not working, how will it work? How will it work? You have not done the science. You don't understand the science of the seeds that you need to plant. I'll give you an example. Because again, you see, in Nigeria, our ignorance is mashed up with religious stupidity. And this month, you don't hear the person shout, it's GMO, it's GMO, it's GMO. Nobody said that's what he knows I'm avoiding. It's GMO, it's GMO. And I'm thinking, do you really know what these GMOs are? Do you even know, let me even come home, do you even know what organic is? Because when you hear people talk, I cannot take anything, it has to be organic. What do you really know that organic is? Do you even really understand what organic is? Do you really understand it, or does it just sound fine to just be amongst the crowd? To say, no, if it is not organic, we will not eat it. Do you really understand what organic is? Do you understand what hybrid is? If I ask you right now as an example, as a human being, are you an organic human being? I know I use the word organic for human being. Are you an organic human being? Are you what nature originally created? The answer is no. How do I know you are not what nature originally created? Because of Darwin's laws of evolution. He told us that when two people mate, male and female mate, what will come out is the best of the two. Is the best of the two. Meaning the best of the husband and the best of the wife will come out as the child. So what you are calling a child is an hybrid, not an organic thing. Because if you are going to have organic human being, it means that the man will marry his sister, and the sister and the man will give birth, which we call inbreeding. That's inbreeding. And you know we say that inbreeding is not allowed. Why do you think inbreeding was called a taboo? In the past, biblical days, there used to be inbreeding. You will hear, it's not to say the man went to marry the daughter, be the wife, the sister. Why is inbreeding not allowed? Because if you marry your sister, it means that whatever is bad can be amplified. Because you are the same genetic material. You are, so if your papa na mumu, mama na mumu, the mumu wanna go born. Oma lumu lumu. That's why. So the essence of having cross-breeding, that's where the thing came from. Cross-breeding, cross-breed, not in-breed. You go cross, go the other family, go find person, marry. Cross-breeding. It is because we are trying to find the best. If you allow that cross-breeding to happen by nature, nobody touch am, than natural. If you allow it happen naturally, what you give birth to becomes heirloom seeds. So heirloom human being, it happened by nature. But we can decide. And say, okay, let the man and let the two not breed according to nature. Let us decide which gene from these two will come together to form the new one. Because we are trying to get out something that is better. That becomes hybrid. So heirloom happens according to nature. Hybrid is there is somebody controlling it. Let me use an example. Imagine I have 2 pawpaw trees in my house. Out of the 2 pawpaw trees, one of the pawpaw plants has a small fruit, but is very sweet. But the fruits are tiny. My other pawpaw plants, the fruits are always big, but it is not sweet. When I want to cross the two, a scientist can sit in the lab. That scientist is called a breeder. A breeder. Breeder. Shegbo, breeder. It is that breeder that we sit down and say, okay, let me look for the gene responsible for sweetness and the gene responsible for bigness, so that these 2 genes is what will be expressed in the child. Because if you leave it to nature, nature will go to what is dominant. You may not like what comes out. So by the time you buy the new pawpaw seed, that is how the whole story of, this is a dwarf pawpaw seed that is sweet. Because what they have now done is a pawpaw tree that will not grow tall. So that all the summarized people can pluck from it easily. Are we together? Improved seed. Now, how on earth is that demonic? If you buy hybrid seeds, thank God there is somebody here, Vivian Adaobi, who bought Cobra F26. If you buy hybrid seed, can you replant the product of that seed? The answer is no. You cannot replant the product of your hybrid seed and get the original seed back. Not because there is any demon, because it is a business for the breeder. Think about it. Let's put on our thinking cap. Imagine the first phone you ever bought. That first phone you ever bought. Imagine anytime you get tired of the phone, there is a way you will just put it in the carton back. When you remove it from that carton, it upgrades to the newest version. You bought, I think we had itel, if you remember, bed phone, Sagem. Imagine that Sagem, you put it in the carton of Sagem. When you bring it out, you just write, now I want iPhone 16. You bring it out, it becomes iPhone 16. What do you think will happen to the company that makes phone? Will they still be there? No. So, phones are, they even do upgrade. Have you not downloaded Bible in your phone and Bible will tell you it want to update? What is he updating? Jesus died again? No, now. They add new things to the Bible. Why is the Bible updating? The reason is because they need to make money. Are you not a Nigerian? Don't you wake up and they will tell you your driver license have expired? Did you forget how to drive? Why did your driver's license expire? Government needs to make money. So why then is it different that the person that made hybrid seed made it in such a way that you need to come back and buy? He needs to make money. There is no demon in it. He made the seed so that we can come back and buy. We humans are genetically modified by, not genetically modified, you are improved by nature. That's why we are different from our ancestors. Exactly. Look at your picture, look at your great-great-grandpa. You are finer. Forget how ugly you are right now. Compared to your great-grandpa, you are an improvement. You are an improvement. Are we together? So, improved. In animals, there are improved varieties. There are improved varieties. That is not how nature made it. There are improved varieties. That is why you will hear, what is it called? Domesticated goats. Goat not a stay house before. Goat na bush. Somebody improved it and domesticated it. Somebody is like, no, to domesticate goat, now just to keep her for house. Go carry lion put for house. Carry lion put for house. Say they domesticate. We will know whether you get spirit of Daniel or not. There are improvements being done by science. When we say GMO, because some people are waiting for me to say, you don't want to talk GMO. When we say GMO is simply, I've talked about this in the past. GMO is simply, in hybrid, you are working with the same species, human being, goat, cow, pawpaw, orange, cashew. The difference between that and GMO is simple. You are working with two different species because what you are looking for is not in that species. If it were, it will be hybrid. So you are looking for something from cat to put in a human being. The only way you can do that is to modify it genetically. That's GMO. So I cannot, one of the most stupid things I've heard people say is, once you do GMO, it will kill all the plants around you. Once I hear people say that, I just see stupidity in human form. Because why on earth do you think there is a plant that has been created that will start killing other plants? No. What was simply done is, the makers of that plant created a plant that a specific kind of herbicide cannot affect. A specific kind of herbicide cannot affect. And because a specific kind of herbicide cannot affect it, if I am the one planting that GMO seed, it means I will spray my herbicide with reckless abandon. Because I know it cannot affect my plant. But you, the herbicide will kill your plant. It is as simple as ABC. There is no gumugu around it. There is no Satan around it. Somebody once asked me, Farmer Sam, what is your thought about GMO? Are you for or against? And my answer is simple. What is your thought about a gun? What is your thought about a knife? Is a knife good or bad? Whether a knife is good or bad is dependent on who is holding the knife. My fruit and vegetable, I tire for what people say. If the person holding the knife is a kidnapper, the knife is bad. If the person holding the knife is a surgeon, the knife is good. Yes, come. The knife is good. The same thing with GMO. It is who is behind the seed. The question we should be asking ourselves is, why are we not thinking of making our own? Do you know that in Nigeria, there is no single company that produces vegetable seeds? No single company that produces vegetable seeds. It is either we are using our local, and let me even shock you. At least I've worked in yam for a while. Let me shock you. Let me shock you a bit. Do you know that yam that you like that is sugary? That yam that you cut that is naturally sugary. I'm not talking about the one you poured sugar. That yam that tastes sugary when you taste it. That yam was not made by nature. That yam was not made by nature. The development of that yam started in 1989 because I was opportune to work on that yam between 2012 to 2016 before it was officially released. But before then, it was being given out as sample to farmers to test the palatability, poundability, texture, and so on and so forth of the yam. It's improved. It's improved. Go back and check the original yam that nature created. The real yam used to be very hairy. If you know yam those days, hair go full everywhere, get chuku chuku, you go dey disturb, you say which kind thing be this? When you harvest and you go come with all the sand when God creates. These things are being improved. Let's not allow our ignorance show forth openly. Let's ask questions. But back to what we are saying. Your farm is struggling because... What did you bring for me?
Sorry.
Bring it now. You shall not don't be keeping our gift far. So I'm owing you 1K now. So we must be able to ask, what are the recent improvements? What are the... Thank you, Anoke. Why are we not producing our own seeds? Why are we not thinking of producing our own seeds? Is what I've not understood. What is this one?
So I made a chin-chin using with flour and soya bean.
No, I won't like it. Does it have sugar?
It's nice, just tasty.
Does it have sugar?
Yes.
Plenty sugar. Sorry, I'm a sugar person.
Just distance.
It's just something we kill a man. So if it's not sugary, it's not sweet. How many did you make?
Of this? It's 4. I'll give you 1 to pay.
No, we have people coming on Wednesday. So we can give it to them as part of the paraphernalia. So we'll buy it from you. So keep it.
Okay.
The sugar is not sugary enough.
Sir.
I cannot get diabetes again. I've passed 40. I don't know if it's true. Don't go and quote me. So, crop improvement. Ask yourself what you are growing. Are these improved? Most of you know now, the what's it called? Pineapple that you eat have been improved. Banana you eat improved. Oranges you eat improved. Tangerine you eat improved. Tanjalo, clementine. Most of the foods that you eat, you know they are improved. Oga Denison, see, I don't like honey. My people here give me honey, but I'm not a honey person. Since I don't drink and I don't smoke, let me face sugar as my cross. We will take it and drink bitter leaf. But thank you, boss. Improved variety. We need to start thinking improved varieties. No, the cassava we have are not improved yet enough. Is what I know you just drained. We need to get cassava to a point where 3 months a cycle is complete. 3 months a cycle is complete. I know they've improved it, but we still have a lot to go. Mommy, leave my jadi, it will work for us. We need to start thinking ahead. We need to start thinking of how to improve. And as a farmer, you need to start thinking, how do I use high yield, what's it called? How do I use high yield seeds? Food safety, good evening, man. Nigeria only even know about GMO. Have you heard of CRISPR modification? There is CRISPR modification that you can do editing and a whole lot of stuff on food. But here we are still shouting, oh, oh. Again, your farm is struggling because somebody now going to say, Farmer Sam says we should do GMO, they have paid him. And you know, your farm is struggling just for one reason. Your farm is struggling. Another reason is you are not using improved varieties. You are not taking advantage of science in your choice of seeds, in your choice of starting materials. I'll give you an example. There is a farm in the Netherlands that does 200 tons of tomatoes per hectare. Let me say that again. 200 tons of tomatoes per hectare. If I do the math, just a minute, let me do the math. Let me do the math so that 200 tons, that's 200,000 kg, divided by 20,000. Yes, that is one plant gives about 10 kg. One plant gives 10 kg. One tomato plant, 10 kg. But Nigeria, our own motherland, the average yield per hectare for tomatoes is 5 tons, which means one plant is doing 250 grams. How do you want to compete globally? How do you want to compete globally? Think about it. How? Some we do 10 tons. That is just 50 grams, 500 grams per plant. If you do 20 tons, that is just 1 kg per plant. But the world is doing 200 tons per hectare. I'm not talking about farms doing 300, 400 tons per hectare, because those ones are like 1 kilo. Now, let me explain why I'm asking how will you compete. Because a lot of farmers do not understand that trade is global. You know, I've said it again and again. Hunger is local. Food is global. Hunger is local. Food is global. And there is a parable that says that he who plays the piper dictates the tune. Abi? Now, let me give you a simple example. Koyewa. I will not use foreign countries. I will use Nigeria as an example. Hopefully, you will understand. Thank God Mr. Denison is on Facebook Live right now. If you go to the far north, not Benue, all those Kaduna, Katsina, Borno, far north, in this part of the country, government has dams already available that farmers can rent land and use furrow irrigation to irrigate their land. Already. 1. 2, in the far north, their lands are basically flat. It's not like you buying land in Oyo State, Ogun State, Osun State, and your land look like tolopolopotopotopotopo with all the contours. I'm going somewhere. Now, if you go to the far north to rent land, no exaggeration, worst case scenario, 20,000 naira per hectare, and the land will come to you cleared. Worst case scenario. Notice, not that they will give you land. That land will come to you already cleared. They will clear the land for you. Come down south, if you want to rent land and you see land of 20,000 naira per hectare to rent, the bush that you will go to, that is when you will know that Google doesn't know everywhere. By the time you enter the bush, you will know that MTN is not everywhere you go. That there are places you go, MTN will leave you. Thank you. Do we have those dams in places like Niger State? A lot. Now I'm going somewhere. You will get the gist soon. So you understand this whole food is hunger is local, food is global. You will get it. Why you now need to see, why you need to use technology. Now you are a farmer in Ogun State. As a farmer, you went to rent land for 100,000 naira or 50,000 per acre. You got tractor to clear your land. Shengbo. You got tractor to clear your land. The man in the north did not get tractor to clear land. Because your land looks like where they are doing tambo up and down, you had to get bulldozer and all to help you flatten a bit so that at least you don't have too many contours. Before you now planted, you had to sink a borehole to get irrigation in. The man in the north, still in Nigeria, did not have to do all of that. He didn't have to do all of that. He just went to an existing dam, plugged the stuff, did furrow, because most of them don't even do drip. Do furrow. Furrow is the water flows through already existing channel and the water goes around the farm. You are both producing tomatoes. I'm going somewhere. By the time you produce your tomatoes in the south, remember, you don't have workers. Who are your workers normally? Your workers will either come from the north or you go to Cotonou and Co, Benin Republic, to get the workers. Abi? So, which means you spent more on labor, you spent more on land preparation, production, and everything. Think about it. At the end of the day, let's say your cost of production was, just an example, 100 naira to produce 1 kg of tomatoes. The man in the north probably spent 20 naira to produce 1 kg of tomatoes. Who do you think will farm more tomatoes? You in the south or the man in the north? Without much thinking, the man in the north will produce way more tomatoes. Thank God Mr. Denison is here. So I don't look like, why are you saying that they don't use a lot of drip in the north? Because people think I'm lying. The man in the north will produce way more tomatoes. So his major cost is transport. He sends the tomatoes down south, which is what is happening. You that produced your tomatoes here is shouting, Now let me explain what you are thinking, how you thinking. Why is the state, why is Oyo State, why is Osun State, why is Ogun State, why is Lagos State, why is Ekiti State, Rivers State, Bayelsa State, Edo State, all the states, Abia State, why are they allowing tomatoes to come from the north to these states? Are they not seeing we are producing tomatoes? Egbon, the tomatoes that you are producing is not enough to feed people in the south. So we need to open our borders for tomatoes to come. But don't they know our cost of production is higher? We know. But when it comes to hunger, this hunger is local. But food can come from any part, because if the food is too expensive in Lagos, you people will riot. You will not remember that we were trying to help Lagos farmers. So to avoid that catastrophe, go and check revolutions that has happened from nations to nations. Revolutions did not happen because people were oppressed. Revolution did not happen because people were unfair or treated unjustly. Revolution started finally when hunger became hard. Go and check. So the state government by default, we allow tomato to move from the north, pepper to move from the north, onions to move from down south. The same way they allow your palm oil move from the south and move up north by default. Because what they are trying to fight against is hunger. What you are shouting is protect me as a farmer. When they do the pros and cons, protect 50,000 farmers versus stop national fight. It's not on the scale, it's not a competition. You are just a pawn, you can go. I hope somebody is getting what I'm trying to explain. Now, bring that now on a national level. We are Nigerians not the one shouting that rice is becoming too expensive? Don't you know that rice is not our competitive advantage? And there are nations that can produce it cheaper, and when they open border, they will bring it in. And then rice will become cheap. And then the same Nigerians that we are shouting, farmers will now look at the farmer and say, oh. So if the farmer now needs to compete globally, because food is global, this is why he needs to look for improved seeds. Does it make sense? Because if I have improved seed, I can now compete with the northern farmer with my tomatoes here. Because where he is getting 5 tons per hectare, I can get 60 tons per hectare from my farm. By the time I hit the market, his cost of production and my cost of production are at par. So we are both profitable. This is how you compete. Improved variety, crop improvement helps you compete globally. It's that simple. If not, when you are done with all the they will still open the border. Because at the end of the day, food security is first and foremost national security, not about whose egos get massaged. It is first about national security. You can make higher use, which is quite sustainable. Exactly. Exactly. See, I'm trying to make it step by step. I'm not over shouting because I will soon round up. I didn't want these things to be over an hour already. So do we see how science plays a strategic role step by step? How science is playing a role? Because, again, the reason you are struggling with your farm, I will say it again and again, is because the science is behind. You are a smallholder farmer, not because your land is small, but because your science is small. Your science is archaic. Your science is archaic. If you have, think about it, any 1 hectare, you are not getting 200 tons from that 1 hectare. Let's do the math. 200 tons from 1 hectare. Tomatoes is like 500 naira. Let's say 500 naira per kilo as an example, Abi. Just an example. Times 500. Your 1 hectare is giving you 100 million naira in revenue. 100 million naira in revenue from 1 hectare. Are we going to call you small, or we'll call you small but mighty? We are not willing to pick up improved varieties. Another one is our method of farm management. There is proper farm management system that is 2021st aligned. How are you an agronomist and there are no tools that you use? As you feel, this color is yellow, maybe na magnesium they lack. Maybe sun too much. Maybe na water. No. Think about it. As a human being, when you have symptoms, you go and run a test. Abi? You will run a test. The doctor will now see the results and tell you what to take. As a farmer, your plants are having issues. Where do you go and run tests? Which one is the tombo you are doing on the farm till you get to the answer? The tools that you are using are archaic and you are wondering why you are not getting the result that you were told you can get. Because again, you see, your science is important. Back to where we started from. He says, I wish that thou mayest prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prospereth. Again, I wish that your farm has prosperity and the farm is in good health based on the knowledge that you have in your head. The major problem is that most farmers lack the depth knowledge of farming science, and exactly. So you have thrown away the science and you have replaced it with religion, and you are wondering why things are not working. Because you are not a farmer. In the real sense, you are just an hobbyist. You are just doing hobby. Is the equivalent of a person that buys a car that doesn't know how to drive. So every day you just come and sit in the car. No car key. You don't know where to even put car key, nothing. And you are like, this car is not moving. Since I bought this car, it's not moving. Move you to where? How will the car move you to where? Where will the car move you to? You don't know how to drive. Next is sustainability. Okay, precision agriculture. Before I jump there, precision agriculture, that's other management. There are tools to give you precision. Agriculture can be predictive. You hear other people saying, agriculture is risky, agriculture is risky. You don't know what will happen. Beko. Go and think about it. One of the most risky business you should have done is being a pilot. I don't know if you've had the opportunity of staying in the cockpit. And you are there because you are not trained. You are just looking at sky or in a ship. You are just seeing water everywhere. You know, when you are driving on the roads there where they don't map out. But imagine staying in an airplane. Everywhere is cloud. For an untrained eyes like mine, that is confusion pro max. That is, I mean, just imagine somebody gives me a plane and say, drive a flight from Lagos to Abeokuta. If the person does not land, God knows where, so that will be their last flight. They'll make every faster than I thought. Because I'm not trained. I don't understand the tools, even if the tools are there. Right? Precision agriculture de-risks agriculture. Precision tools removes the risk. Thank you. You say in Brazil, over there, farming looks like AI. There are too many things that are available that technology can help you overcome. It was in Netherlands, there was this drone they call PATS drone, PATS drone, small like this, can stay on your palm, not as big as this phone, anything like this. And they were telling me, oh, once you put drone in your greenhouse, you can no longer have 8 feet or mites on your bed. Because before they come, the drone is able to recognize them and kill them. But here, we still wake up in the morning because the drone is licensed to come into Nigeria. So we still wake up in the morning to start looking at by 6 a.m. See you see any sign. She won't want to share Baba Killeri, Killeri, and so forth. What science is doing in other countries that don't be Baba Killeri? There is a science for that. Everybody places I went to another farm, they had these temperature sensors and they were telling me before there is an outburst of diseases, there is a temperature change on the leaf of the plants. I'm like, say what? There is a temperature change on the leaves of the plants. I was like, so plants even get temperature. Whoever taught you that? That plants have a temperature that they emit. So he was showing me on the not in front of the name they call the machine, and I was seeing the pattern. But here, we are not there. We are still not, okay, sorry, Vivian, I was saying about Killeri, like, we still visit our plants, and we are asking, what did you see? What did you see? Is this? Can you see? Is it showing? Is it not showing? Is it scouting? Yes, scouting. Thank you. We are still scouting. Where people have left scouting, there are machines that scout. We see in Nigeria, you still have people wake up and go to rice farm and be eating pangolo. When there are drones that can do that. But we are still doing I know somebody that still pays young boys in a village and they wake up in at that period and they carry things and be eating. And we call it job creation. We are creating jobs not of the mind, of the body. That is why our productivity is low. Countries where jobs that require mind, brain, is being created, productivity will be high. Human beings are the one. Human beings now scouting. Do you get the point I'm trying to make? There are sensors. There are drones. There's a place I went to. We still use this whole knapsack because we need to spray greenhouses. But see their farms. They have what is it called? Misters arranged. When they need to spray, they just press a button, just everywhere spray, clean, neat. There is a science. Don't make me Minister of Agriculture, I go sell Nigeria. Yes, thermal camera, thank you, man. There are lots of sciences available. I know we may not have, I'm telling you that there are some I don't have. We may not have money for everything, but think of the basic problem that you can afford to solve. Hey, Dr. How are you doing? Think of the basic problem that science can help you solve. See how to implement those ones first. Within 1942 self, they closed. You just will not go further than that. Go to, was it Netherlands or where did I see that? That a single farmer has over 2,000 acres of land. One farmer. No, when I say a single farmer, I am not saying one person owns 2,000 acres of land and has 50,000 workers. No, a single farmer owns 2,000 acres of land and he is the only staff. The whole tractors, motorized, not motorized, what's that thing called? automated. And he sits in his office. When I entered his office, I'm like, because when people come to my office, they're like, wow, see, your office is beautiful. I'm like, no. You need to enter real farmer's office abroad. You just see computer. The guy is controlling this, pressing this button, pressing that button, and the farm is running. But here, you need to run around the farm for the farm to work. In short, your life is the blood of the farm. The day you stop moving around, farm dies. We may not get there in one day, but we can start picking up little tools. A small pH meter here, EC meter here. Let's test the water we are using for our plant. A small sticky card here. Let's see the insects that are prevalent. Step by step. But we cannot just sit down and fold our hands and be saying the farm is not working. No, there is a science to help. There is a science to help. There's sustainability. Sustainability. We need to start thinking, how do we ensure that what we are using today does not die by tomorrow? How do we reduce the use of pesticides? All these insecticides, fungicides that we are using. How do we reduce the use of agrochemicals? How do we gradually adopt regenerative agriculture over time? How do we learn how to do integrated farm systems? Because when your farm is sustainable, your wealth is assured that in 100 years, the farm is still making money. Farming is a science. Your farm is struggling not because there is a demon. The farm is struggling because of the science. Without science, what you have is trials and error. Without science, what you have is an experimental plot. Take out science from farming, you are just doing experiment regardless of the scale. You are just doing trials and error. You try to work, you try again. You try to work, you go again. Trials and error. Dear farmer, think around how to improve your productivity on your farm by working on your science. So tomorrow, they have meetings tomorrow. If not, sometimes around this time tomorrow, we come up. We will then discuss farming as a business. If you have been following up my conversation, I started with why you struggle as a farmer. I discussed facts and assumptions. I don't know if it is on Facebook, but I switch either Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, so join on every platform. I have discussed policies, understanding farming and policies, how to make the policies of the country work for your farm. So today we've talked about science and farming. Tomorrow, hopefully, I will discuss farming and business. Then after that, farming and people management. I'll be taking it step by step. And that will be on one of the platforms tomorrow. Thank you for joining. I don't know if there are questions, but thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Have a great night. You said something before.